I'm Mark Heskin. Welcome to my craft show. Well, I think I've kept you in suspense long enough. But first, let's backtrack a bit. It all started with a story that I told you on my first anniversary special. It's on a Sunday afternoon. I'm out walking by Mrs. Fields Cookies right down here on 72nd and Columbus, and there's two men walking behind me that are kind of like my age, and they're walking a big fluffy white dog, and one is explaining to the other one about my show. He had just watched my show that morning. So they don't see me, I'm in front of them, so I hear them talking about this guy doing this show about crafts. So I slow up, and so I'm eavesdropping. Well, he was mocking me. But it was devastating. A lot of you reacted to that story, and I shared one of the letters with you. Dear Mark, just a short fan note to say how much we enjoy your Sunday morning show. Blah, 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 blah. I hope the two gentlemen who were mocking your show while walking their big fluffy white dog were tuned in on Sunday. They should realize that thousands of Mark Heskin fans are on the lookout for two mean-spirited people and a dog who needs some hairspray. I then challenged those two guys to contact me here at my craft show. We'll work out our differences, we'll clear the air, and then you can walk your dog without fear. Then the plot began to thicken. I'm going to end today's show with kind of a cliffhanger. In the mail today, I got a letter from the two guys with the big fluffy white dog. Now, I just got it today. We don't have time to go into this, but I'll show this to you on another episode in a couple weeks. So now, I'm excited to finally share the letter with you. Dear Mark, we watch my craft show almost every week. Blah, 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 blah. The rest of the middle part of the letter, they're talking about how it's okay to make fun of people. And, all right, well, anyway. The point is, we have a big, white, fluffy dog. It is not uncommon for us to walk Ripley on a Sunday afternoon after watching my craft show. We were probably mocking you, but we hope you'll believe us when we tell you that that doesn't negate the fact that we really like you and appreciate what your show offers, which is different from anything else on television. What do they mean by that? I decided it'd be fun to take this one step further, so I looked these guys up in the phone book and left a message on their answering machine. And they did return my call. And we had a nice talk, and they explained that they were roommates, and they were about to have a party. And they invited me to the party, so I was very excited and a little nervous, so I got to meet them. And they were both very attractive, very charming, very nice to me. And the party, it was like a very chic party, like a lot of people there. And when I entered the apartment, there was like a long table there with all the drinks on, all the liquor and stuff. And I thought, oh, well, the buffet must be in the other room. So I went in the other room and looked around for the food, nothing in there. Well, it was a big apartment, so I went in another room, nothing in there. There was no food. There was no food. They had a party, but no food. Now, I don't know. Maybe this is the way chic people do it these days, but, I thought a piece of pumpkin pie, a little potato salad would have been nice. A week after the party, one of the guys stopped by my apartment to give me a present. And we were talking about interests and hobbies, and he explained to me that one of his roommates' favorite pastimes is to cook. And I quickly had to bite my tongue and try to hide the smirk on my face because I wanted to blurt out, well, you sure wouldn't know it by that spread you laid out at the party. I mean, a little cheese whiz on a Ritz is not that much work. I don't care how many bribes, or I mean gifts somebody gives me. I call them as I see them, and I didn't see no food at that party. Although everyone was very nice, although two of the people, including one of the hosts, were wearing mock turtlenecks. So I don't know what that meant. On Halloween, my friend Monty brought me to a party at Mary Beth Malone's. And that wasn't so much a chic party. That was like more kind of a yuppie party. And she had like 2 of those 5-foot submarine hero sandwiches, just chocked full, thick with meat and good stuff. She had potato salad. No, not potato salad. She had macaroni salad and coleslaw. She had candy all over the place. Later in the evening, she brought out fancy little cookies. At the end of the evening, when I was about to leave, one of the submarine sandwiches had hardly even been touched. She had like too much food. And she gave me a piece of tin foil and told me I could take a big hunk of it home with me. Now that was a party. When I made the plea here on my craft show for them to contact me, I was sure surprised when they did respond. On that same episode, I also told the story about the fans that had the My Craft Show dinner party, and I just remarked that since the dinner party, none of those people had been very good about staying in touch. Since the dinner, I haven't heard from any of those people, so I assumed that they've since gotten lives of their own and weaned themselves from my show. So, well, I didn't expect them to contact me either, but 2 of the people from the dinner party did, and they apologized for not calling sooner, and they invited me to go to Coney Island with them on Labor Day and go on the Cyclone. So that kind of had a happy ending too. Also, on that same episode, you know, I had my first contest that I've ever had here on my show. It was a Twin Peaks trivia contest. And I really didn't expect anyone to respond to that either. Write it on a postcard, enclose your phone number, and I don't know what the prize is going to be yet, you know. Because so far, well, first I have to see if anyone enters. But guess what? People did. So I had to come up with a prize after all. So what I came up with, I decided that the winners would get 3 minutes of airtime here on my craft show. So today we have a couple winners. And the first one is Jeff Donaldson Forbes. So take a look.
Hi, I'm Jeff Donaldson Forbes. I'm one of the Twin Peaks contest winners, and for my 3 minutes prize time on my craft show, you'll be seeing a film I was in called Bye Bye Blues, directed by my roommate Jill Schuler, and it's about the game of life. Enjoy!
That film was a lot of fun. How many of you recognize the background music in the beginning of that film? It was from It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, which is one of my favorite holiday specials, and I was very pissed this year when it wasn't on TV. And I called CBS to let them know that I was disappointed that it wasn't on. There's some things you need to be able to count on in this world, and I've watched it every year except one since I was 6 years old. It started in the mid-'60s, and it's a holiday tradition, and they shouldn't mess with it. The only other year it wasn't on, I think it was like 2 years ago, and that was the year they had that mini-series, This Is America, Charlie Brown, which I also called This Is Boring, Charlie Brown. And anyway, that week, it lasted like once a week for like 8 weeks or whatever, 6 weeks. And that week, the Halloween, Charlie Brown was already on. So then that year I could kind of understand why they would preempt the Halloween special. But this year, there was no excuse, I don't think. So I want to give you the phone number at CBS, and if you missed it and would like to be sure that it's on again next year, or tell them you were disappointed it wasn't on this past year, give them a ring at this number. As long as we're talking about Halloween, I got 3 Halloween cards this year. I did get some other fun viewer mail that, even though it wasn't Halloween cards, someone made this neat card using what they did. They took a picture of me on TV and incorporated that into this bot card. So that was very clever. And someone else also made this card and spelled out my craft show using Cheetos. So that was also interesting. Back to Halloween. Okay, another thing I wanted to say, I enjoy making caramel apples at Halloween, and it's always so much work taking all the paper off each of the individual caramels. And I always thought, wouldn't it be great if you could just buy a chunk of caramel? Because now that everyone's trying to conserve, paper and stuff, it's a waste to wrap each of these individually. Why not just buy a 1/4 pound of caramel and unwrap it once. Let's see. Oh, back to Jeff Donaldson Forbes. In his apartment, he and his roommate get two interesting dolls. It's this Michael Jackson doll and this Ed Grimley doll. And I think someday they're going to be real collector's items. Speaking of collector's items, when I was a kid, Sweet and Innocent by Donny Osmond was the first song that made an impression on me. That was the first record I ever got. And I think the second song that I liked was I Think I Love You by the Partridge Family. Well, anyway, I wanted to show you recently, as a result of being spotted here on my craft show, I got to do some print work. And there's two. There's this one. This one is in the fall October issue of Mirabella magazine. And they were doing a fall fashion layout. And let me read the copy to you. The shimmer of pearls, the drama of antique lace. This is a season of head-turning looks, dazzled with touches of days gone by. Even silk gets a star treatment in the traditional wedding gown for Chanel, modeled by my craft show star, Mark Heskin. He is ready for making the scene or stealing it. So that was a big deal for me. And then there's another one. This one is in New York Magazine, the fall. It was also, actually this is the August 20th issue. And this was an ad for a perfume. And it says, a fragrance of pure, raw sensuality. So I guess that's what I'm supposed to be conveying in the picture. But I thought I should have been wearing something a little more low cut. But who am I to say? Only like time for another Twin Peaks winner. This one is from winner Deborah Lotz.
My name is Deborah Lotz. I am not an actress, I am a real person. I'm one of my craft show's Twin Peaks contest winners. I thought I'd use this time to talk about a craft project right here in our apartment. My friend Brian Reardon instigated the whole thing. I liked what he and his roommate Michael had done in their apartment, and my husband and I were tired of our bland white walls.
That was all I needed to hear. I sort of took over. First we chose 3 contrasting colors. The next step is really crucial. We had to mask out the area to be painted very carefully so no paint strayed out of where it belonged. Then we diluted our base color with gold and washed the walls with it with this brush. We cut up a large sponge in a random pattern. Then we applied full-strength gold paint over the wash with it. This wall includes more sponging with the full-strength green paint. We used the third color on this piano, which had been a glossy black. The effect is really vivid, and I like it a lot. And then for the windows, we achieved really silent drapes with wooden dowels and white muslin sheets that were gathered with pins.
Brian is available to talk about these painting effects to anyone who's interested. Mark can tell you how to contact him. And now my husband Miles will tell you about our autograph collection.
Mark has shown various people's collections on my craft show. Now, we became collectors without really being aware of it in our collections of autographs. We have a lot of books signed by their authors. Kevin Ryerson, whom people who know Shirley MacLaine know all about. Brian Weiss, whom we met at the Whole Life Expo. Marilyn Ferguson, who's a very bright woman who was also at the Whole Life Expo. Samuel R. Delaney, a science fiction writer who has a small cult, very loyal audience. The Irish writer Edna O'Brien. Julie Nixon Eisenhower, that book was given to us by my mother. Peter Straub, who's a horror novelist and also someone I've happened to have met several times, know very well. Elmore Leonard, who's a best-selling detective writer whose books get bigger all the time. And probably the biggest selling author in the world right now, Stephen King. This is one of his books. And in addition to books, we have an autographed picture of the Olympic diver Grayson Gaines. We have the Smothers Brothers Yo-Yo Man video, that came from Yo-Yo. We have a CD by Peter Cater, whose music has been featured on my craft show. We have a Carly Simon album, and she's someone I've worked since I was very young. And autograph experts usually will tell you it's better if you collect a particular group of people, like athletes or actors or musicians, or even concentrate on just one person. And we happen to have 3 autographs by the composer-lyricist Stephen Sondheim. This is the Follies in Concert album, which is also signed by Elaine Stritch and Barbara Cook. This is the Sunday in the Park with George album, which is autographed by the stars of the show, Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters. And this is a poster for Merrily We Roll Along. And this poster is a rarity because an actor billed on this poster was replaced for the show in opened. This is our latest acquisition. It's a real prized possession, an autograph from the host of my craft show, Mark Heskin. We all really enjoyed being on my craft show.
Well, you know, out of all the Twin Peaks contest winners I've had here on my show, Deborah and her husband Miles were the only ones that served me dinner. And that was really nice, so I just really want to thank them for that. However, another of the contest winners, Jeff Weissman, did give me a present. Well, let me show you. From his t-shirt collection, he gave me the Santaland t-shirt from Macy's. And through his connections at Macy's, Jeff also arranged for me to get a press pass to go to Hoboken, New Jersey, to the Thanksgiving Parade workshop where they make all the floats. But unfortunately, the day that the press is allowed in conflicted with the plans I'd already made for my 2-week Thanksgiving vacation to North Dakota. So I was unable to go. But that would have been great, and maybe it'll work out another year. Speaking of Thanksgiving, let me show you the Thanksgiving decorations I have in my apartment. I love Thanksgiving, I love Charlie Brown, and I love pumpkins. So when I saw this ad in the subway, I just had to have it. So I took it. I don't feel guilty, however, about taking these no parking signs, because I took them after the parade was over. This big turkey reminds me of the big turkeys we used to have on the bulletin board in grade school in our classroom. I put up several Thanksgiving pictures from memorable Thanksgivings. This was a special Thanksgiving. I had my friends meet me at my apartment, and I didn't tell them where we were going to go. And I surprised everyone and brought everyone to Windows on the World and treated everyone. So that was fun. This is the first year I had Thanksgiving here in my apartment. My friend Jeffrey made a turkey cake. The year after this, my friend Chris got sick during Thanksgiving, so that wasn't a very memorable Thanksgiving. Or that was a memorable Thanksgiving, but not good memories. And one year I thought it'd be fun to watch the parade from my apartment. So this is what it looked like from my apartment. These two little wax pilgrims on top of my TV I've had ever since I was in grade school. Recently on my show, our special guests were Mark Johnson and Eladio Suarez. And they're two guys who definitely deserve a second look. So as we end today's show, let's take another look at them. So this has been Mark Heskin, and this is my craft show. We'll see you next week.